South Africa has officially declared war on Israel, with intentions escalating at an alarming rate. The South African government took a bold step by launching a case on Friday at the International Court of Justice, ICJ, accusing Israel of committing genocide against Palestinians in Gaza. Their plea to the court is to issue an order for Israel to immediately cease its military operations in Gaza. This move has made South Africa the first country in the world to bring Israel before the ICJ regarding the ongoing conflict.
Hello, my name is Chief Okuzo from Plug TV.
South Africa's submission to the ICJ alleges that the actions and omissions by Israel are genocidal in character and are carried out with the intent to destroy Palestinians in Gaza as part of the broader Palestinian national, racial, and ethnic group. The nation has been a vocal critic of Israel's military campaign in Gaza, with comparisons drawn between Israelis' policies towards Palestinians and South Africa's past apartheid regime of racial segregation. Israel vehemently rejects these allegations. South Africa's request for an interim order to halt Israeli military operations in Gaza is expected to undergo a hearing in the coming days or weeks. While the full case could take years to resolve, an interim order could be issued within weeks. Now the question on everyone's mind is the strength of South Africa's case against Israel and whether they will prevail. Now, Israel has dismissed South Africa's case, asserting that it lacks a legal foundation and is a despicable and contemptuous exploitation of the court. Meanwhile, Israel has defended itself against the genocide accusations, branding them as a blood libel. Israel contends that South Africa, along with Hamas, ignited the entire conflict. Israel accuses South Africa of cooperating with Hamas, the Palestinian military group responsible for triggering the ongoing war, with a deadly attack in southern Israel on October 7, 2023. Israel maintains that its military actions are in accordance with international laws and are solely directed against Hamas, emphasizing that the residents of Gaza are not considered enemies. Israel claims to take measures to minimize harm to civilians and to facilitate humanitarian aid access to Gaza.
Our war is against Hamas, not against the people of Gaza. Hamas sees civilians' deaths as a strategy. We see it as a tragedy, which is why we use many measures to try and minimize the civilian harm and suffering. That is the tragic reality in this war that Hamas started. We warn civilians before attacks, whenever it's possible. We also recommend civilians to temporarily move away from areas of intense fighting. We know this is hard, but we are trying to save lives. We have also offered international organizations to set up humanitarian zones. We use tactical pauses to allow for the evacuations of civilians and the distribution of humanitarian aid. Israel is not restricting the amount of humanitarian aid that can enter Gaza. We abort attacks when we see unexpected civilians' presence. We choose the right munition for each target so it doesn't cause unnecessary damage. We know civilians in Gaza are suffering. This is because of Hamas' strategy and tactics, and because Hamas steals the international aid meant for them. Our intent is to defeat Hamas and secure the release of our hostages. The tragic suffering of civilians in Gaza is not our intent. Our actions reflect this.
Even if South Africa wins its case at the ICJ, there is skepticism regarding Israel's compliance with any court orders, citing past experiences where Russia flouted a court-ordered halt to hostilities in Ukraine in March 2022. Israel appears determined to pursue its objectives in the conflict, potentially ignoring any ICJ rulings. In the Israeli-occupied West Bank, the Palestinian Foreign Ministry has welcomed South Africa's accusations against Israel. They have urged that the ICJ should take immediate action to protect Palestinian people and halt Israel's onslaught. Balkis Jarrah, the Associate International Justice Director at Human Rights Watch, views the South Africa's case as an essential opportunity for the ICJ to scrutinize Israel's actions in Gaza using the Genocide Convention of 1948. Jarrah emphasizes that this case is not a criminal proceeding against individuals, alleged perpetrators, and does not involve the International Criminal Court (ICC). However, she believes that the ICJ case could garner greater international support for impartial justice at the ICC and other credible venues.